Hello, welcome to Slice of Anecdote. I am your host. My name is Harry, and today we are going down memory lane with a longtime friend of mine. We are sharing experiences, perspectives of the everyday human. Enjoy. Okay, today we have Nicklas Mork, my good friend. Is that how I say your last name?
No!
Okay, you say it, you say it.
Knock.
I tried. It's close.
Sure.
I used the Chinglish version.
Well, just change the U into an O and be like, oh, sure, that's it.
Mork.
Knock.
Mork.
Well, that's better.
Thank you. Thank you. I really,
What a great
my
start.
God, this is so dumb. So welcome to our very first collab, I guess. No, I wouldn't call this a collab. Welcome to the very first time that we're doing this podcast. Let's start off with how did we meet? What is our little story in the beginning?
Oh, you really want to share that bit?
I feel like that would be so fun. I don't know, maybe we'll cut this part out, but like let's just go from there and then yeah.
Yeah, so how did it start, Harry? What about you start telling the story and I will fill?
God damn it. Okay, I remember the very first time messaging you over the apps. The apps, if you know
The
what I mean.
apps, that's what we're
Yeah.
calling them.
We were both in Canada at the time,
Yeah.
and this motherfucker ignored me. And then and then And then I think I saw you with a mutual friend in like real life in a club. We started talking in person, but then I don't quite remember how like this relationship, friendship kind of like started from there, you know? Like
Oh, that's actually a good
the
question. I'm not sure I remember either.
wow.
But
I
yeah,
was
so
hoping you would.
no, I think so. It's pretty accurate. Like you texted me and I didn't reply. First of all, you're outside the age limit that I have set on the app.
Sorry,
I
say
was
that
still
again.
very young. Let that be said. It's like what? It's
Wow, you're
back in
calling me out.
2018. Um, and also you're looking for things that I wasn't. So that also kind of like, yeah, no, not interested. And then we did meet at the club. I think it's like the only time I've went clubbing actually. And it was totally random. It
Can
was
we
St.
can we
Patrick's
preface
Day.
by Can we preface by saying that this was a really, really small town? We're gonna be,
Yeah.
let's just not say where we are, but like this is a small town. Everybody kind of knows everybody. And there's only like, I would say one and a half gay clubs in the city.
What's the have?
There's one that like kind of has gay events, and then
Oh,
sometimes it
they.
doesn't. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know.
Maybe it was like later, but I think so, because there was the one that where we met, and then there was like another one like up the street
Yeah.
that is like second floor, if you know what I mean.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I forgot what it's called though. I would have said it, but yeah.
Oh, I actually didn't know. But yeah, so we're basically both in Canada in a small place. Well, it's kind of big for me because I'm from Denmark. So I think basically any city you would call small is quite big in my standard, but it's a lovely place. And I
Mhm.
remember because I only went at St. Patrick's Day, and it was basically because I've been out on a hike, and we met these girls on the hike while we were waiting for some friends. Um, and they asked us if we wanted to come meet them later at the club.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, so we ran into each other there, and also fun story because like I've never been clubbing before, right? And I was very
Yeah, I could tell.
insecure about going there. Um, but as often, Matthew just dragged me along, and that was fine. But within the first 2 seconds of me being there, someone groped my butt, and I was like ready to turn around and leave. It's like,
Oh
I'm done. I'm
no.
over it. I'm going home.
Oh my God. Wait,
Yeah.
do you remember like what this guy looked like? Like any
Not
like
at all.
features?
I just
Okay, like
remember he was
not
in a
worth
sweatshirt, but like,
you remember the sweatshirt, but not what he looked like. Like the old, young, high, tall, short,
I think
black hair.
young, around probably a little older than me, like 1 or 2 years older.
Okay, okay.
Um, White, I think, short hair.
Are you just making this up?
No, I'm not. I'm really trying to like go back and be like, what did I turn around to? And I was like, very like, what the fuck is happening?
This
And
is
then
like
I just
questioning when you
because
had like the not
because he
the
groped my
previous
butt and
sexual
then he
abuse.
like walked away, turned around, looked at me and winked, and that was basically it. And then he started like
Oh,
groping someone else, and I was like,
he
what the
didn't even buy
fuck?
you a drink. He didn't even buy you a drink.
No.
That's rude.
I literally just walked in the door. We just hanged our coats. Like I just feel someone slapped my butt and was like, "What the fuck?"
Wait, that was before you were actually in the club?
Yeah, we literally just gotten in the door. I was so like, "What the fuck?"
Damn. Damn. Okay, so he's hot shit back then. Nicklas is hot shit back then.
Oh, thank you.
Back in 2018, before he even got to the club, he's already got sexually harassed.
That's how it is when you're like an international student, I guess. Fresh meat.
International star.
But yeah, so I think you came up to me in the club where I think Matthew had tried to like drag me out on the dancing floor, and I
Mm,
was not having a good time with it. But anyways, you came up and chatted, and then you
yeah.
texted me the day after and was like, "Hey, it was nice meeting you."
Okay.
And then I was like,
Sounds like
"Oh,
something
it's
I'd
kind
do.
of like it's awkward if I ignore him now."
Wow, so I
Uh,
basically like inserted myself
yeah,
unwillingly. But hey, look where we're at now. Like
yeah.
I have no regrets. So
Neither does
it's
I. It was definitely
okay.
not the way
Thank
that
you.
I thought I would meet friends, but sure, it definitely worked.
I just have, okay, this is weird. I think this might be a theme. Like I have a tendency of like, okay, it's fine if someone doesn't like want to converse or like have a chat, but in person after that, it kind of may flourish to some type of friendship afterwards. And it's really hard to, I guess, have those kind of, I don't know if boundaries is the right word, but like through like apps and stuff, because like the intentions is quite unclear.
Yeah,
And reflecting back in like Canada, I was a very different type of person compared to now
yeah,
in terms of like meeting people, right? So I think back then I thought like, oh, all the gays are kind of like this. All the gays
yeah,
are very hypersexual, very like looking for relatively the same thing. Like I didn't really have anybody to like, kind of like there's no blueprint.
yeah.
I like we just kind of figure it out ourselves. And it's been consistently the same type of people that I have met. So like it kind of got drilled into me. These are the type of people that you like how you engage, how you
Yeah.
it's just hypersexual and like all that stuff.
But
But
that's
with you it
definitely
was
also the
quite different.
norm. Like,
Yeah. I think it was like that at least like in North America. I'm not sure about I don't know how much like gay exposure you've had in Denmark, but then again, like you've said not from like the super metropolitan cities of Denmark, so it
not at
might be a little
all.
bit different. Yeah.
Like you
Let
would
me just say you
describe,
live but fuck nowhere.
like you would describe the village. I guess I grew up in as like basically not a village. It's just a few houses, I guess. Um.
I am not exaggerating. There's literally a few houses.
Well, it is what it is. Um. But yeah, like I think generally my experience has been from the apps, and it's very clear that those apps are, used to looking for sexual activities.
Hmm.
Um, and there's definitely this notion of being part of the LGBTQ plus. I guess I have to say the full thing. Um,
That's not the whole thing.
I can't even remember the full thing.
I don't, me neither. Okay,
But
well,
like
I'm
being
happy
part of
I'm not
that
the only one.
community, especially as a male, it's very much being stereotyped that you have to be very openly sexual and looking for that type of things. And so what I've met is often like people not believing what I'm saying or people not respecting my boundaries. Like it's been a lot of those type of stories, and that's why I was also like very like I'm just not gonna even try and reply on this, right?
Hmm.
Um, where I think like we had a lot of conversations about it in the start of our friendship, but I also remember you actually really trying to get to understand where it was I was coming from.
Yeah, I think for me, it was like a very new territory that I have never explored before, to a point where like a person was kind of like you. I was like, oh, like you're not like this, you're not like that. Like, what is going on? So like, it was
Yeah,
just really intriguing for me
that
to
it's that
figure out
star
like,
quality. You never met a star before.
oh, I know, mate. Look at you now,
Yeah,
flourishing, dying in your own house.
basically.
Okay, another really fond memory, I think that for me and you was this is kind of sad, I think, in a way. I think it was like due to your chronic pain.
Yeah,
And is it okay to talk about that?
yeah, of course.
Yeah. So
I'm gonna complain
it's
about it later, so please
okay.
do.
Yeah, so he has back pain all day, and he has a body of like a 65-year-old apparently. And
Oh, you're gonna change that answer when you hear like about my last couple of days. You're gonna be like, yeah, he's like 85 and close to
okay,
dying. But
okay,
sure.
well, we need to think about getting you a grave soon. Okay, so yeah, it was about chronic pain, and at the time I was really into fitness, well, I still am, and I think you kind of were as well, and I think like it just kind of like made me want to help, right? Because like at
Yeah,
the time, being a personal trainer, it was my career to like try to help people, so I was hoping that I was able to do something about it and see if like there are different types of treatments that you haven't had a chance to explore, and like I
yeah,
was, at least in my reality, I don't know about yours, like I was more than willing to explore this with you and like try to help and come up with ways and see how I can make some sort of relief. As selfish as that sounds, for me, it was something that was relatively fulfilling for me, like in a very professional and personal standpoint.
yeah,
I think that's where one of the points where our friendship kind of like flourished a lot more, just to understand about like your chronic pain and like what you're going through in life and like all that stuff was really eye-opening experience as someone who's like so young to have experienced so much in his life,
yeah,
and whether or not that has contributed from your mental, and then it's like the input of like mental health and the output of chronic pain is being displayed all over your body is like, for me it was like really really, I don't know, I was very sympathetic towards your situation, and
yeah,
I was really hoping that I was able to like find some sort of relief. Like I know that I wasn't super um educated back then or well experienced. Like I tried to get other personal trainers input as like, okay, like why does he move like this? Why does he move like that? Why might he has pain and that? But anyways, that is just like kind of where my mind went when
yeah,
how our friendship kind of flourished. Like what do you think
yeah.
about that time?
I remember. So it was kind of weird for me because I knew you really wanted to help, but it was also like I don't want to take advantage of what you were offering in terms of trying to help me, you know? Because our friendship
Mm,
was still very, very new, but it was very, very clear that you was very caring. And like, one of the funnest memories I have from like our beginning of our friendship is I got like really sick with a cold. And I remember you came over and like brought food and really tried to be like, do you need anything? Like, I'll go get it for you. And I just remember that caring for someone you barely know.
That's so funny. I don't remember any of that.
No, but like, I think it's very, I think it's very you. Um, but for me, I was like, this is not something I meet often, right? I often meet very self centered people, and here, so Denmark is a very close society.
Mm-mm.
And we just don't just go over or go out grocery shopping together or just go out for lunch together in the same way as I experienced in Canada. So there's definitely some cultural things in it, but
Right.
yours were just like really like I really want to make sure that you're feeling well when you
Hmm.
are here, and I can do something, even if it's just like turning up and make sure that you have like painkillers or have some food to eat so you don't have to like go around and like go grocery shopping while you're feeling really shitty.
Yeah, because at the time you were so you basically moved to Canada by yourself and you
Yeah,
were an international student and like you basically didn't know anybody and like
yeah. I had
you
you
basically had to
and
do like
Matthew.
everything yourself. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. No, like that's that. I moved to Canada to study for half a year, and
Was that
like
only half a year?
it's only half a year.
Oh shit. I thought it was longer than that.
No, and like I had decided to go, and I decided I didn't want to live on campus because I knew I wouldn't be able to get the things that I needed in terms of my mental health. And this was where
Mhm.
I was also just really figuring everything out with my mental health. I've just gotten like my diagnosis, I think like a year or a year before, and there was still a lot of things going on there. And I was like, I'm gonna do this no matter what. Like, I know this
Yeah.
is gonna be healthy for me, and it was like the best time ever for me. And I still look back at it as like the first time I really felt happiness since like forever. So
Right.
it was very good that I went. But I lived in a house with five other guys that I didn't like talk with really. Like I could say hi
Yeah.
to them, but I didn't really have any connection with them. So I had you, and then I had Matthew that I had met before, also on the apps. That was also a pretty sketchy story about how we met because it was like in January and he's just gotten back. Um,
Sorry, who are we talking about?
Matthew.
Oh. Oh, you met Matthew on the apps.
Yeah, yeah, I did.
Oh, I thought it was like an international
No,
program thing.
no, I met Matthew on the apps, and like so basically, I wanted to go to Walmart because I didn't have any options for like big grocery shopping, and he was like, "Oh, I'm gonna go when I come back," because he was visiting families for New Year's and Christmas and stuff, right?
Mm-mm.
Um, and so he comes to pick me up, and I found out that he lives literally like three houses down the road. Anyway,
Yeah, he does.
he came to pick me up and drives down this little side alley and is like sitting in his big car in this like completely darked out alley. And I'm like, if someone wants to murder you or kidnap you, this is the place they would do it. And I was like, when I opened the door, I was like, you're not going to murder me or kill me, are you? And he was like, no. And then I got in and we just drove to Walmart. But I was like, this was so sketchy.
Wait, was this like his parking lot? Is that what you're referring to?
No, no, no. Just a side road to, I
To his
live
car.
just by that crosswalk.
Is it to his car?
Yeah, so he literally drove down those three houses and drove in for a side alley because I didn't know where he lived, and then
Oh,
picked me up
okay.
there. But it was really sketchy area.
But isn't that what all murderers say? It's like, you're not gonna murder me, right? And then you're like,
Yeah,
obviously not. And then something happens.
yeah,
Well,
exactly.
anyways,
Anyways, we had a great time. He brought me champagne because I'm complained that I couldn't find any, and yeah, so that's how me and Matthew friendship also started. And I got to go to
yeah.
Walmart and buy like quite a bit of grocery stuff.
Look at you using people.
using people for my own advantage. All alone. Just getting all the Asian dudes to help.
Love, 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 love.
Yeah.
Back in Canada, we were blessed with nature. Um,
Yeah.
I think we have done a few hikes, right?
The one where
Or
you
is it?
can where you can see the trestle from.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's the one.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did that one, and I remember like you're like, oh, it's nothing, and like take into account that Denmark is probably the flattest place on earth, right? So I'm
No,
not
but
used to
like,
doing high.
wasn't you like keen on hiking all the
Oh
time?
yeah,
And
for
then,
sure. I loved it.
okay,
But I
okay.
remember I turned up and I had like a GoPro with me because I wanted to record it and stuff. It was weird, right?
Oh my God.
Anyways, so we go and it's just literally in my mind doing a hike up a mountain is like basically just going up all the way, right? And then just going down. But this, no, no, no. It was up, down, up, down, up, down, and I was dying. And then we come to these cliffs, and there's literally like space for 1 foot at a time.
Yeah.
And I'm like shitting my pants because I'm like scared of heights, and it's just straight down. And we're standing there, and you're
Are
like,
you actually? I didn't know that.
yeah, I am. And you're like,
Oh.
oh, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay. And like then this runner fucking comes from the top of the mountain, just running down that. And I'm like, what the fucking fuck? I'm like, these people are fucking insane.
They
Um,
were so fit.
but we did get up. I have a lovely video from it and some lovely pictures. Especially of some plants that I saw, and I also remember being up there discussing how like um, buildings are encroaching on nature with you, because I'm like I work with sustainability, right? So I'm very much putting my attention towards that. And then I remember seeing like I don't remember eagles, but it was like big birds like flying around up there and like looking over to the trestle and stuff. And it was really really nice. I think we went out and got dinner afterwards or something like that. I think we went out to eat a lot.
Yeah. Was that hike with just me or was Matthew involved
No,
too?
it was just me and you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I love that hike. Like I've done that hike
Yeah.
so many times. What a cute little memory.
Yeah.
And then and then you fucking left Canada.
Ah, bitch. Like, first off, I moved to a different place in Canada. Still same city, just a bit
Mm,
further down. And then all of you left me first. And then I came visiting you. I guess I can say Vancouver because it's a big city. Is that okay?
yeah, go for it. No, it's fine. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So I come visit you, and we're like looking at apartments that you want to like buy, and you find this place, and it was fine. And then I was like,
Wait, hold on. You were apartment hunting with me? No.
yes, I was. I literally
No, wait,
walked
like when I was
all the way
buying.
around fucking Vancouver with you, and like was in your car with you, driving all over Vancouver to look at fucking apartments. That 1 week that I
Wait,
was in Vancouver, I think it was to
it was
rent
like,
first.
oh, okay, okay, okay.
You find this place, and you're just like, oh, this is great, and like it's all good. And then I meet your mom, and she was just shit talking me in the car, and I had to sit there pretend like I knew nothing. But you were also like, she's really shit talking you. I'm like, yeah, I can feel it over here.
I do not remember any of this stuff.
Oh, I do. And also, like, I remember going with you to pick up your grandma at the hospital, and like, I remember a lot of different shit from that trip. And like, they were really shit talking me because I had colored my hair. And I was like, that was literally all I did. And I'm the most boring person ever else.
Here's the thing about Asian parents shit talking about their friends. It's always just like, what is that Guilo doing here? But anyways, I don't remember it to be crazy. I think it's just like a typical how Chinese people
Hmm.
converse.
I remember you
Um,
literally told me that
mm,
she had said that she was sure I took cocaine.
really?
And I'm like, I'm the fucking most boring person. While you're sitting there being like, oh no. And I'm like, bitch, If someone has ever tried anything here, look to the
We're
fucking
gonna cut that out. We're gonna totally cut that out.
side.
Okay, that's cute. Okay, so we left the small city first
Yeah,
and then moved to Vancouver. Both of us, me and Matthew.
yeah, yeah. You left me
And
for my
then,
last like
and
2 months.
then, oh, oh, I remember which house you're in now. It was the one that's like further, it was like a bigger house. And then like there
Yeah,
was a dog. There was a
yeah,
dog, right?
Emma.
Okay, okay, okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh God,
Oh,
I'm getting
she's so
too old for
sweet.
this.
She's so old now. Like I still get pictures of her, and she's so cute.
Yeah. Well, now you have your own children,
Yeah, I have two now. They are.
as in two. Do you want to talk
Oh
about your
yeah, two
dogs?
fur children, two dogs. No kids here.
He's a doggy daddy.
Yeah, they're cute
They are so cute.
and they are
And
horrible.
for anyone, and with your permission, if you want to share their Instagram, I will put them
Sure.
in my channels if you
Oh
want.
my god. So I tried to make one for Joy, right?
Okay.
Um, and then I put in all the information, but then it like fucked up or something to make that secondary profile. And so now I can't log into it because there's no way to log in. But the username is taken and I can't use it. And I'm so mad because I found a really cute name for the profile. So I haven't made one for her
Oh,
yet. Um,
oh.
yeah. But Erin has his. So I actually have a story I want to share since we are talking about our friendships. Um,
Okay.
so this was in 2018 we met.
Wow,
And
he has
then
dates.
oh, I do. And then I came back in 2019, visiting for 2 weeks. So 1 week in Vancouver, 1 week where we were before. It was during Pride, which was. So the first 2 days I was kind of grumpy because I was sad I had to go home. I didn't want to go home. And you're like, bitch, you're killing the mood. So very fun. Made me like step back from some of the activities. So it's like, you know what? I'm just gonna let you enjoy those times. Um, but what I do remember, and I'm not sure you want to
Mm.
share this, but I do. So I remember like during Pride, and it was all great. I remember the beach trip with the cookie, where it didn't have any effect on me, and I had to drive.
Oh my God, it was that day. It was that day.
Yeah,
It was the fireworks
yeah.
with oh my gosh, okay. This is
It was literally with everyone. And so, can I tell the story? Are you okay
Yes,
with it?
please. No, do it. Go for it.
Okay, so because I have chronic pain, Harry had asked
Yeah.
me if I
Yeah.
wanted to get some CBD stuff, which
Yeah.
is it's you can buy CBD things here in Denmark now, but you can't buy anything with THC. But back then you couldn't really do it.
Yeah.
Um,
And then at the time in Canada, weed was was it legal?
yeah, yeah,
I think
yeah.
it
It
was
was
legal now, right? Yeah.
yeah,
It became legal.
yeah. It became like it was legal before I came to Canada. So
Okay.
in different areas, and then I think it just went nationwide after. Not sure about
Okay.
that. But it was definitely legal where we were. I was like, yeah, sure, I would love some. And you bought some gummies and stuff. Like, you sent me a website and was like, what do you want, right? And then I ordered this cookie with a tiny bit of THC in it, but a fucking shit ton of CBD in it.
Yeah.
And, like, I ate half of it. Didn't feel any fucking thing. And I ate half one day, like, went home and I was, like, kind of upset. Anyways, and I was like, because it didn't taste great, you know. Like I love cookies, but it tasted of weed, so I was like, this is not great. It doesn't taste great.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, can we have it then? I was like, sure. You bring it along. I don't think you've eaten anything yet. And then you eat some, and Doc eats some. And then you have like a few crumbs left for like some of your other friends. Like they literally get like the tiniest piece. I think it was Jad and Brendan was there. Who else was? Matthew was probably there. I don't think Matthew
Yeah, he
took
was.
anything. and you guys got so high, like you could barely move. Like you were just laying
Yo,
down on the beach and putting stuff over your head because you could not be in it. And I was like, what the fuck is going on? And I tried to talk with you guys, and you were just like, yeah, yeah, it's fine. I'm doing great. And I just remember, and you guys were like, yeah, we have to like find a train home. We can't drive. And I was like, I haven't taken anything. I can drive home. So we go and find the car. And you guys were like, out of your fucking mind. And I have to go like drive around Vancouver, which I've only done like twice or something, in the
mm.
middle of the night. And I have to get Jad home, which apparently literally just collapsed into his bed, fully clothed, wakes up like with shoes on, and wakes up exactly where he landed. And the next day it was like, what the fuck happened? And I have, and in the car you're just like, you have to take a right turn here. I'm like, here? Yeah. And then just turn because you told me so fucking late. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, you should just have let me put a GPS on you. And you're like, no, I can guide you. I was like, sure, I can.
The funny thing is, you listened. You listened to like me saying no to a GPS. That is so funny. I
Yeah,
remember that day. That was like a really memorable day for me because it was really rare to have you and Matthew and like my other friends like
yeah,
all in the beach. I think we spent like at least 3 to 4 hours at the beach waiting
yeah.
for the fireworks to come on during that Pride Day. And every weekend during Pride, there's like at least one of the fireworks that's happening for Celebration of Lights, which is like a
And that was the one
competition.
we were there for, right?
Yeah, and it was like a competition of fireworks for like 3 different nights or something like that, and one of them is always on Pride weekend. And we were there for that, so like we had a good spot on the beach. And I remember Jad like bitching to me about this. He was like, "You," I mean, like he's not unfamiliar with, edibles and stuff, but like
Yeah.
he always over exaggerates how much I give him. I'm like, bitch, you're fine. And then we're both just like stone cold, like lying onto the beach, and we're just
And he
like,
had only
"W-
taken crumbs because it was you and Doug that shared the other half. So there was literally just crumbs left for everyone else.
yeah, I just don't know. Like, I think, was it only from that one cookie from
Yeah.
you? I didn't, oh, okay.
And the
That's
next
because
day
I
you're
think,
like, this must be the CBD because I only buy things with THC. I'm like, I don't think it has that much effect because I ate half and didn't feel a fucking thing.
okay, well, whatever's wrong with your body, something's going on. Because if you ate half of that cookie, like that thing was shared amongst like one, two, three, four, five, at least five people.
You
So
guys were so out of your mind.
we were having a time of our lives. Like we were like, wow, these fireworks are so pretty.
Yeah, that was
It
great.
was
It was
great.
actually not the story that I wanted to tell. I wanted
Oh,
to,
awkward.
so this was just a lead up to it.
Okay, sorry. Keep going.
Yeah, but anyway, so we're at Pride, and you guys were like, "Oh, we're gonna do these events and these," because Pride in Vancouver is very different from what Pride is here. So I'm not
Yeah.
used to those type of events and stuff. And you're like, "Oh, we're all gonna go to this party called Backdoor," and I'm like, "Sure, I'll buy this ticket."
Oh,
And we
fuck.
go.
Okay, here we go. Here we go.
And so, first of all, we're meeting up with like a lot of your friends that had literally like pulled me around and separated from me from you guys that I knew like at the day before. I was like, I don't know these people, but they just separated me from you because everyone is very kind and like. But yeah, so we are like a big group going to this, and we're standing in line. And I think I'm standing in line with Matthew and Brendan actually. And you
Mm.
guys had went ahead, and it turns out we had like premium passes or something, so we didn't have to stand in line. And first off, there's like this guy asking me if he could have some of my water, and I was like, sure. And then Matthew and Brendan was both like, no, you can't give him anything because, like, what if he drugs you or are like sick or anything, right? But he just like poured some like down, didn't touch the bottle. Anyways, that was fine. We get in. I see fucking statues of naked men, posters of naked sailors, go-go dancers in cages, and just like a million people, like basically completely undressed. And I'm like, okay, this is a lot. And then I think it was Will that came and told me that don't go upstairs because like that's for like different stuff. Like that's the back door, you know. And I'm like, okay, definitely won't do that. And so, but then
Sorry, say that again. Definitely what?
so I definitely didn't want to go up there, right?
Okay.
But we meet up and like everything is great, and then you're like, oh, we're just gonna like go up there, and I'm like, sure. Like I knew what you guys were into, right? So and like that's not weird that you're going there.
Yeah.
And then I was like left with like three people back down at the main party thing.
Yeah.
Um, and it's just getting wilder and wilder. Everyone besides me were on some type of drug,
Hmm.
and people are just like slowly like moving away and like starting to hump each other on the dance floor and like literally stripping down to be completely naked on the dance floor. And Matthew and Brendan, which I think I was stuck down there with, left. So then I was alone. I was like, yeah.
Like they left the club?
No, they just left me. I don't know where they went.
Oh, I see,
They
I see.
apologized the day after, but they went somewhere still in at the party, but were somewhere else, right? They probably left for the stairs or something. No, no. Um,
Well, okay, this whole time when you're describing this party, I was like, which venue is this? And now I remember which venue you're talking
yeah, it
about.
was
Like,
like
you said upstairs. I was like, what are you
yeah, it
talking
was like a
about?
closed
Okay,
mall
it
or
makes sense
something,
now.
right?
It's all coming back to me. It was one of like the very first event from that company in like a really gigantic, well, as big as Vancouver was able to offer, like venue that we've ever
Yeah,
been to. It was a lot. There was a lot of people everywhere, and like
yeah.
it,
There,
there was like escalators going up, wasn't it?
yes, there were. I think it was like an
Okay.
abandoned fucking mall or something. And there I
So
am,
funny.
fuck, like I have diagnosed social anxiety, and I'm not on any meds or anything, and I'm just standing there surrounded by fucking like a billion gays, is what it feels like
Yeah,
doing the
yeah.
craziest shit where I just know like right up there it's probably even crazier and my friends are up there and I can't go up to them because heavens no I don't want to see what's going on. And so
Yeah.
it ends up that I leave, and I remember I got on a bus to like go to like a train or something, the Skyline or whatever,
Mm,
and on the
mm.
bus like people were getting into fights. It was horrible. I was
Oh
like,
no.
fucking shit, all of you. Fuck you guys. I was so mad. Like, everyone just abandoned me. It's like, fuck this shit. Never doing this again.
Uh,
And that's the last time I
Maybe.
saw you before you moved to the UK. Because then Corona happened, right? So.
Yeah, because like the year after that, like Corona kind of happened.
Yeah.
Corona. Fucking Corona.
That was like.
That was 2019 or 2018?
So the Pride was 2019. And then I couldn't
Mm,
come next year because Corona. Um, and the next year after because Corona, and then you moved to the UK, I think.
2022.
Yeah, so that makes sense. Yeah, and now here we are. You're still in the UK for now.
I am in the UK. I am in the UK. Yeah, I'm like so glad that I kind of know someone on this part of the geography.
Yeah, yeah, you've
But
come
like,
and like celebrated Christmas and stuff with me.
that was really nice. Um, you know what okay. We don't have to like, let's dive in a little bit about my reflection being in the UK and like,
Yeah.
because back in Canada, like my perception of like life is quite different, and what I needed to achieve and what I wanted to get to in life, all that hasn't really changed. But
Yeah.
I think ever since coming to the UK and then meeting you at your own home in Denmark,
Yeah.
it like really showed that there is a different way of living
Yeah.
that like never really occurred to me for some reason. I think it's always been in front of me, but I don't think I like ever stopped long enough for me to rethink like, oh,
Yeah.
you could live like this.
Yeah.
Um, but that doesn't mean I want to live the way that certain people do. What I'm talking about is the pacing and the environment and like the type of work-life balance that people have in North America versus here is very, very different. Like
Yeah.
the minimum holidays that you guys get is like what, 25 days or something like that? Like for at least in the
5 week.
UK, in North America, it's like two.
Yeah.
And it's very hard to get more than two. So like I thought that's just what life was. And then not until I moved here, it, like kind of like opened my eyes a little bit more. And like you live in a very, very um a very quiet life and
Yeah.
it's very homey, like wherever you are. Like ever since I've been to UK, you've moved once, I
Yeah.
think. So so I know that. So I've been to like both of your locations. Like both of
Yeah.
them have been very homey in my perspective. You can't get the type of house that you are currently living in Vancouver,
Oh no.
Toronto, London. Like, you know what I mean? You can't do that with like the type of income that you guys have to the property you guys have. You guys
Yeah.
basically have a house
Yeah.
and a yard, and it's huge. And I was like, wow, like you guys could live like this, and like I could potentially live like this. Or, why do we need so many things like
Yeah.
in life? Like, why do I need to be in such an expensive city and all that stuff, right? But like, yeah, it just kind of like put me into this trajectory of reflection a lot lately, and it has been very eye-opening that not everybody is in like these metropolitan cities. Like, yes, they are very, very busy. It's
Yeah.
very desirable for a lot of people, but at the same time, there's a reason why like rural areas exist, right? Like,
Yeah.
people want the escape, people don't want to be part of it. And there is a certain beauty towards it. And I think that it's not until I really appreciated it until I was going to or uni in Oxford.
Yeah.
The city itself was very familiar to where we met in Canada,
Yeah.
right? Like the vibe and like the
Yeah.
city and stuff like that. So, and then when I was moving towards London, it was kind of giving me like this anxiety attack. And I was like, what is going on? And then just because like the fast pacedness, I was like being in Oxford for 2 years, it was like super chill, very like low key. I didn't participate in any type of public transportation. I cycled everywhere. But like now in London, like I have to take the train everywhere. I have to plan like at least an hour-ish
Yeah.
to like get from point A to point B. Or in Oxford, like I'm a 10-minute walk radius to everything that I basically need. And it's so different to like how you want to spend your time. Um, yeah, I'm just going off on a tangent, and
No,
it's just like really interesting.
I think it's really interesting to hear because like it's very, or it has been, and now I don't know how much have changed since you moved back to London because we haven't talked that much about that experience. So I think you should share more about what you've learned about this because I find that to be very interesting for me at least to hear because in my mind you are definitely a big city boy, right? Um,
Mm.
you're very used to that fast-paced lifestyle and the type of life that you live in the major cities. Like if you go to Copenhagen here, you will see a lot of what you experience in Vancouver or probably also in London.
Yeah.
And like I get stressed out immediately when I get there, right?
Hmm.
Because I'm like, I can't even cross the fucking road without always almost be running down. And
Oh
like,
my God, yeah.
and like, what are you so in such a rush for? Honestly, most people don't have a job where anyone will die if they're not there in time, right? That's only like
That's
doctors
one
and
way to look
nurses.
at it.
And like everyone are just looking out for themselves, running so quickly that they can't even see what's right in front of them, and all in chase of more, more of everything, right? But they don't have time for the more because they're running after it. And I'm like, this doesn't make sense. And it's kind of like the richer people get, the bigger they're spending, so they don't feel richer because they're just like they just spend more money, unless you're very conscious of it, right? So that's what I see with these people. They're like running and running and running and running and running, and I'm like, for what? For like, you don't seem happy. You're never like off work. Like most of these type of people, and I've seen many of them recently. Like they always answer emails. It doesn't matter how late you send them an email or write to them on LinkedIn or where. Like I'm like, turn the fucking phone off. Like, stop for a minute, right? Um, and I know a lot of your dreams align with that type of lifestyle. Not that that is what you want, but that's the type of lifestyle you kind of have to live until a certain degree to get what you want, right?
Yeah, I definitely agree with that.
And so I'm very
I
interesting.
find it really interesting from that perspective is that like I think like the ultimate goal for maybe for a lot of people when they come to this point of realization is that at the end of the day, like they want to be able to spend time with the people that they love. They want to be able
Yeah,
to spend time to doing the things that they love. But like they don't get to that point until a certain like degree of I don't know, whatever it is that they need to get, like either it's income, either it's like career checkpoints or whatever it is. Like for they would have to spend, decades and decades to, oh, maybe I'll have to like wait until I'm retired to like slow the time down,
yeah,
right? Whereas for you, like your life is very much like you're living in it. And it's like,
yeah,
yes, you're in a very rural area. Yes, you're in like a very like quiet life or whatever. Like I think in a lot of ways, like sometimes I think like you're winning a lot more
yeah,
than like a lot of other people who are in the metropolitan city like you because people in the metropolitan city like want like what you have but they can't have it because of like the location basis,
yeah,
right? But at the same time there's just like a different aspect to it that I just didn't realize it was possible, but it requires like some sacrifice and it requires what you're willing to compromise in
yeah,
life, and I think like you have I guess, demonstrated and showed me like what that could potentially look like just by spending Christmas with you and like hanging out with you and like in a very small rural area. I was like, yeah, I could definitely live like this. But like at the same time, I think I would need both. Like
yeah.
I would want to have the option to do both.
Of course. And I find it very interesting because also where we live now, we live in one of the most densest populated areas in Denmark.
Really?
Yeah, but like it's on a wider zone, so it's not just the one big city that we're living by. It's three cities, um,
Oh, I see.
connected, right? So
Hmm.
it's here, like everyone is driving through here, no matter where you're going. in Denmark, basically, as long as you're like moving a decent amount of space. We chose a town that's outside the big city, and I can also see there's things that I need here that's not here, like activities I would like to do. It's not
Hmm.
activities that I will necessarily find even if I lived in Copenhagen or anything like that, but it's the options of having that. And I think
Right.
that's what was great for me in Canada, because those options were there even though we lived like in a really quiet place. We want to move to an even more remote area. Like I want an even quieter life where then live close enough to a big city that I can go do these activities, live close enough to the type of nature that I want to do those activities, right? Um, but I don't want to be part of the life that is in that big city or major city, right? Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, so you talked a bit about your experience of moving back to London and how that has changed a bit what you're feeling towards like what you want in life, and I find that quite interesting.
Not necessarily like what I want in life, but more of the awareness of options. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? I think it's just because of the influence from like parents and stuff like that, like always wanting to, their kids to succeed and all that
yeah,
stuff and be able to do XYZ. And a lot of that vision was more or less in like a metropolitan like city, as much as like a country can provide, right? So
yeah,
like being in London as a mega metropolitan city, at least in my experience, is very, I would say like I like it. At the same time, um, it's very hard because I think it's because like I didn't grow up here,
yeah,
and starting new in any city is very, very hard. I guess I didn't really realize what kind of like mindset it would set me towards, because previously I've moved to a different country when I was very young, from China to Canada, and then from Canada to like different parts of the city for a few months due to certain jobs,
yeah,
and then moving from Canada now to this side of the world in the UK is really eye-opening in terms of like how people live lives here,
yeah,
and being able to like restart life
yeah,
basically in a completely new environment where like nobody knows you. It's like it comes with challenges like I didn't realize that um oh my God, there's so many different perspectives. Like I guess like how my parents figured it out from a from like China to like Canada, and they speak no English whatsoever, and like somehow they made it, right? I feel like it must have been a really huge challenge for them as well.
yeah,
Um, Maybe like it was never really talked about, at least with me and them. And now, like, I think I just have sympathies towards a lot of different things because of this experience.
yeah,
It's not that I haven't like lived somewhere else away from home before, but like this is a very different scale. Like
yeah,
when you're moving across from Canada, like you're still kind of in the same country. Like you
yeah,
don't have to like worry about certain things. But like when I first moved to the UK, the first few weeks was so rough.
yeah,
Just trying to like get your bearings on to everything hitting at you at once. At
yeah.
least
You
like
are
for me, it
just
was
completely on your fucking own when you move across like the
I
ocean.
was like I was like la 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 la. But no, like hey, what was really challenging for me, number one, was getting like really basic stuff, like getting a house to rent or something like that, a
Yeah,
flat, trying to find something, and then trying to figure out like, okay, what are like the ins and outs of the laws? What is it that I can need to sign and contract? And then like, you hear about scams and stuff. So I'm like, okay, like there's like another layer of be carefulness you need to
yeah,
do, right? And then figuring out like banks, and then phone numbers and like all that jazz. They're like, oh, you can't open a bank unless you have an address. You can't open this unless you have this. And I was like,
Yeah.
well, I don't have anything. So how am I supposed to start it? So they're, anyways, like at the end of the day, I figured it out. And it was a crazy first 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And I'm really glad that I came early to figure that out before uni started.
Yeah.
For anyone who is listening, I would highly suggest if you're going to a new country and, if you're starting uni, starting a new job, come early
Come
to
like a
figure out,
few
like,
weeks before.
yeah, come like a few weeks before if you have the means to do it and
Yeah.
like set up your bank, set up things so then you can like live a little bit more peacefully.
Know where the
Um,
grocery stores are.
know
Like,
where the grocery stores are. I didn't even realize there was like different types of grocery what do you call it? Like levels in
yeah.
the UK. Like it's very different. And then like going to Asian stores comparing to Canada to here, I was like, what is this bullshit? I feel like we were spoiled in Canada. Like
Yeah.
very spoiled in terms of like the food industry, very spoiled in terms of produce. Maybe it was just the fact that after COVID happened, everything in the world kind of skyrocketed, right?
Yeah.
And I had this price assumption comparing Canadian dollar prices to like UK prices. I was
Yeah.
like, what is this? Why am I paying so much for two bok choys?
Yeah.
Like, why is it £5 for
Yeah.
two bok choys? And then if I convert it to Canadian, like that's $10.
Yeah.
But But that was literally the time when I think Canadian prices have also gone up. So I don't know what those prices
Yeah.
look
Yeah.
like.
But it,
That was like a huge thing for me as well.
yeah, I also remember it from actually more coming back to Denmark from Canada. Because
Yeah.
Canada is cheaper than Denmark because your taxes aren't that high and like I still got the same amount of money as I would in Denmark, right? So a lot of things followed
Mm,
well for me. Of course,
mm.
rent and like buildings are way more expensive.
Crazy,
Like
crazy expensive.
it should be legal, like actually legal for it to be that expensive, but that is a completely different discussion. But like the idea of just going out for lunch with friends, right?
Mm,
It was such an like, oh, we can just do that option. Basically for anyone, I think, in Canada, at least anyone I met. And I know we're
yeah,
lucky because we were studying at the university, which is not everyone who gets to do in Canada, right? So we're definitely
yeah,
already, I think, my sociology class on Canadian sociology was like, it's like the top 2% that actually get to go to university, and even fewer
right.
that has a master's degree like I do now. Um, where in Denmark it's very common. Um, but like being able to just do those things without worrying that much. Like I've never ever had that much money in my life as I had while I was in Canada. And like coming back and like really have to think about, oh, can we go out for dinner or can we go out eating lunch, me and my friends, like without it like affecting whatever I can buy of groceries for like 2 weeks. um it's a huge difference. Like,
Really?
yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and like it's so expensive here in Denmark compared to,
Oh, okay, interesting.
like, me and Espen, we have an agreement that's like once a month we can go out and eat or order food. Sometimes we do it twice, right? But it's at a price point where like it's not just something that you do, even though that we are doing okay financially, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Interesting. I didn't know that there was like such a huge difference at the time in Canada versus Denmark.
Yeah.
But I know that right now, going out to eat in Canada, at least like where we are from, is
Yeah.
like you like as soon as you step out the fucking door, easily $50,
Yeah.
$100. Like that is not even that's just for yourself.
Yeah.
Like split bill just by yourself, including maybe tips and like
Yeah.
taxes.
Oh, yeah. That was something else I really had to learn. Like, your prices are
Tipping?
not including taxes.
Oh yeah, okay. Everyone tells me that here. Everyone's like, why do you guys do that? Why don't you guys
Yeah.
just
It's
include
fucking
it in your
weird.
thing? Yeah, I know. That is weird. Like,
It's kind of like
and
the
like
US
what?
having to send in their own, like, tax papers or whatever every year. And, like,
Yeah,
every
it's because
fucking
they
other
have to record
country,
it.
the
It's
government does
because
it for you.
yeah, well, for us, like we have to do it ourselves. And like, so how much was the tax? And then like it's already inputted there, so like we just take that
Yeah.
amount. Anyways, I'm not an accountant. Don't take my word for it.
No,
I
no,
send
no.
it
I
to an
just
accountant
remember,
to do
like,
it.
having to learn that was like, but it said, like, $5. Why am I giving, like, 7 for this? I was, like, so
And then,
confused.
and then a tip option on top of that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, like, an option, but, like, you should really tip 20% because, like, you're not getting enough to live if we
Yeah.
don't. I'm like, what the fuck?
Oh, okay. Question for you, because okay, we're on top tipping industry. I love this. So, um, what do you remember about the tipping industry? Because you were in Canada before COVID. Like,
Yeah.
do you remember coffee shops and places that you don't tip, such as like Starbucks, coffee shops, like bakeries?
Yeah.
Did you like, was there tip options back then? Because I don't remember there being tip options. Like even like Booster Juice or
Uh,
even
I think there were some places, most places just kind of had a tip jar, which you also see
yeah,
some places here. Like, it's rare that you see it here,
yeah.
but I don't think most places did. But I do know that in the US, when I went to LA, it was like an obligation no matter where you went.
Mm. Because after COVID, it definitely exploded. Like after COVID, it was Starbucks, bakery, like anywhere that has customer service
Yeah.
is like asking for tips. Like a coffee for 10 to 15% to 20% tip. I'm
Yeah.
like, what the hell?
Yeah, but I
Um,
also like, with living expenses exploding as much as they did globally, right?
yeah,
Places like Canada and the US and, like, similar places where you're not getting paid a living wage as a standard,
mm,
it is required. Like, you need to, like, especially in the service industry, because those people are getting paid so little that, like, I think it's like 50 to 60% of their income has to be tips, even just for them to have enough to survive by, and often work multiple jobs, right? Which is something you don't really see here. So I had, like, even before COVID, coming into Canada, it's something I was definitely aware of. Um, because it's one of those differences where it is so clear that the way our societies are built is so different from each other, uh,
yeah.
fundamentally, about what it looks like. And I find it kind of funny in the US, when they often are asked about Denmark or any other Scandinavian countries, they're like, "Oh, but you're paying so much in taxes, right?"
Hmm.
And yeah, we pay around 45% in taxes, and then there's taxes on, like, things you go out and buy too, right?
Yeah.
Which is 25% on the thing that you're gonna buy. But that's
It's
included in
25%.
25%, and if it says tax free, unless it's in the airport, it's only 20% taken off.
Whoa.
But here's the thing: in the US, and I don't know if this is true for Canada.
Mm,
In the US, you pay taxes for the whole of US, and then you pay it for the state you're living in, and then the area you're living in, and then
hmm
probably also city tax
hmm
on top of whatever they put on groceries and stuff. And if you
Right.
calculate these taxes together that people are paying, then they pay on average more in tax than we do here. and we have universal health care. We have our system for when you're not having a job, and like, and you can still like get paid and stuff. We have all of these social security things that the US don't have, even though, and they think they pay less taxes than we do, but they pay more if you calculate it together. And that's
Right.
crazy to me because they live for less than, right? I know there's a big educational gap and there's a whole storyline around it in these type of countries that makes it seem this way. And like at least in Scandinavian countries, we are very much exposed to what different countries look like, and like we get news from different countries and stuff, which I know, for example, the US don't really do that. And like, just like, it's so crazy that even their educational system don't even teach them about the unfairness because that would uproot their whole system of thinking. But it could turn everything out for the better, right?
I don't really know about Denmark other than being one of the happiest countries in the world, but clearly when I
Also, one
visited,
of the countries on most antidepressants.
yeah, that's how you guys become happy.
Yeah, great. And the winter depression that's here every year, right? You're feeling that too in the UK. So,
Okay, I'm taking 2,000 UIs of vitamin D's. Like I'm not
yeah.
doing 1,000 anymore. I'm double fisting it.
I remember it was Espen that told me about his university sending out, because his university had a lot of international students coming from India, coming from all over the
Mm.
place, right? Because it was an engineering university. And they send out this email every year when it's like getting to fall season about like winter depression in Denmark. And like Danish people, we're just used to it, right? So we just like hunker down, we just live indoors for like 6 months and like turn on candlelight and live in
Yeah,
blankets. Like
yeah.
we just fully embrace that we are getting a winter depression. That's just and in this letter they're like, this is not okay. This is not the norm. Don't do what Danish people do. Go take these vitamins. Go get these type of lamps. Like, don't believe what Danes do. It's very, very serious, and you will get like very sick because you're not used to this type of life. I'm like, oh yeah, I never thought about that.
Yeah, that is wild. What is your thought on like the season depression compared to when you were in Canada? Like we're in the warmest part of Canada when where we live.
Yeah.
So like I think there was some seasonal depressions.
Oh yeah, you still have some of the darkness, right?
But I don't think it's that severe though.
No. Well, I I
Well,
think my
I can only speak from
opinions
personal experience.
are very skewed because my time in Canada was literally the best time of my life. So like I was already at a way higher than I am at my like highest point here in Denmark. So like very hard to compare. But like I didn't feel it as much on people, and you haven't adopted any of the type of strategies that we have for it. Even when I went to the other end of Canada and visited a friend there, where like it was covered in snow, like covered up to my neck in
Yeah.
snow, right? And I have some family that live in Alberta, and like those crazy minus degrees. I still don't feel like it's hitting as hard, and it's kind of
Hmm.
like when you feel, and you haven't done this because you haven't visited me during like the summertime, when you feel the
So
heat in Denmark, even if it's like 18 degrees or 20 degrees, it feels like you're gonna die. Like it's so fucking warm.
right.
Whereas in most other places, if it's like 20 degrees or something, it's fine. And we have a lot of people who come visit from like really hot countries. We have people come from Thailand or like places where it's often like 30 to
Hotter.
40 degrees, and they can't handle being in Danish heat because it's so clingy. Like you can't do anything, it just sticks to you and it's
Yeah,
suffocating.
it's very steamy.
Yeah, it's like it literally feels like no matter what you do, it's just stuck to you. Like the heat is just like sticking, and you're like, what the fucking fuck is this? And we don't use aircon or anything like that. I think it's kind of the same where like at the same time, like the darkness here, the weather here, the coldness, and now Denmark is like probably the warmest of the Scandinavian countries. Definitely comparing to Norway and stuff, and we don't get as much snow, and Norway is even darker than Denmark. But it just sticks. The seasons just stick to your skin in some way here, and I didn't feel it did that in the same way.
In Canada.
Yeah, in Canada or anywhere else
Right.
I've visited, right? Um,
Interesting.
yeah,
I just want to see if we can jump to an end segment here in terms of
you didn't
just
get to talk
seeing.
about any of the things you wanted to.
That's okay. I'm sure you'll come back on
Yeah,
eventually. Can we share a little bit about like what you're doing in life right now and what are your current f- challenges that's happening for you right now? So there's two questions.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think like you know this, but right now there's a lot of health things going on.
Hmm.
So that's definitely where my focus is.
Yeah.
Because I'm going into the hospital to be what is called like, they're checking out if I have arthritis. I don't remember
Right.
what type it was called, and
Rheumatoid.
um, just like this weekend has been so fucking horrible. I've
Hmm.
been in so much pain, and I don't cry with pain. I've been crying because of pain this weekend.
Oh.
Um, and like so that's taking up a lot, and I think it's very double sided because it's not great if it is because it's chronic and I'm never gonna get rid of it. But it's also very acknowledging and very like I kind of want the diagnosis because then there's an explanation to why have I been feeling all of this pain for so fucking long. And there's treatment options, right? And like
Yeah.
it can explain so much about like why is it hard for me to build the muscles that I want? Why is all of these things very hard for me? And that can be help with medicine, where it's not just because, as many people know, with mental health issues, as when you go meet the doctors with like anything physical, they just kind of try and wipe it off of it being mental and like, oh, depression can make you feel this, or stress can make you feel this, or anxiety can make you feel this. I'm like, sure, but please like check out that it isn't anything else, and please take it seriously and like really
Right.
go through with it.
Hmm.
So I think that's the one thing. The other thing is definitely the job situation, where I have so many ideas, so many things I want, but also trying to figure out with respect for myself, what am I capable of doing without forcing myself to burn out? And how can I do the things that I know I want to, but would probably make me burn out in a healthy manner? Yeah, so that's what I'm going around with and what I'm challenging with right now. Yeah. A heavy ending.
I'm sure like things will eventually have answers to some of your questions in terms of like
Yeah.
your health. And I've been on this journey with you for a little bit, and
Yeah.
you being in a different country, I can only provide as much support as I can. But I'm happy to like provide any type of support
Yeah.
to the best of my knowledge whenever.
I always text you and I'm like, what is this? Like, help me, bitch.
And
Especially
I'm
now that
always
you're like,
happy to help.
like,
Yeah,
yeah. Now that you're a physiotherapist, I'm very much like, so, this
almost,
is weird.
almost,
Yeah,
almost,
you'll be
almost.
there. You'll get through eventually.
Thanks. Thank
Yeah,
you. Well, thank you for coming on,
of
and it
course.
was a lovely
No, no,
time,
no.
and I
Wait,
hope
wait,
that.
wait a minute.
Oh,
You answer those questions yourself. You're not getting off the hook just because you're the host.
yeah, I do. I get to get off.
No, 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 not at
I
all.
don't even remember what the questions were.
Oh, What are some challenging or what are your focus on right now? I think it was something along those lines.
Okay, okay. Um, God damn it. Why are you putting me on the spot? So for
That's my
me,
job.
the challenge is to continue to do what I love doing. This is a long answer, but in short, like I hope that I can continue this like little project that I'm doing, which is like this little pod, and continue to share stories and like share experiences to the world. And I think what I've kind of realized is like there is a digital imprint that I could potentially collect with the people that have been in and out with my life
Yeah,
that I could reminiscent back into. Yes, I can share it with the world, but at the same time, I think this is more or less like for me to be able to listen back and be like,
yeah,
oh yeah, I had this time with Nicklas back in Canada, blah blah blah. I have something like to listen to. It could be like photos, it could be videos, it could be like
yeah,
now pods, right? Like I think it's just kind of that aspect of being able to share experiences with people. Um, and I think I want to be able to try to continue with that. And I think some of the challenge with this type of project is being able to have people's time and my time to like do some of the extra edits and all that things
yeah.
to make it a little bit better. It's probably going to be shit for the first season, at least from what I'm planning, but it is what it is. I
You
will be
know,
very happy with like the product for now.
look out the
And
fucking window. Everything is fucking shit. No one cares anymore.
okay, as long as there's like one listener, I'll be happy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
that's the goal for now. I'm forever grateful for our friendship and how it sprouted from an ignore to a in-person chat to
you
now
know,
where
I
we
was
are.
a star. You said it yourself. I
You're
was
a
like the
star,
hot
honey.
thing or
You're a
something.
star. All right. Thank you, everybody, for listening. If you enjoyed today's episode, please share it with a friend and consider leaving a Slice of Anecdote a full points review. Your support truly means the world. Catch you on the next episode. Bye.